Okay, Miss Thing. Miss Thing and Miss Girl, Miss Thing. Can we talk before we get into the video, before we do previously on Movies in the Mug, before we do all that kind of stuff? I want to talk about this fucking film, okay? You've seen the title, you know what we're doing. It is no surprise to anyone. We're reviewing Twilight. And honestly, I fucking hate this film. I fucking hate this film. Here's the thing. I grew up in the heyday, the absolute peak, pinnacle of, I don't know, I feel like there's a word for it. Twimania? Maybe? Google says, did you mean Tasmania? No. Nope, that is not a word. Twihard. I don't like that. So even back in the day, even way back in the day, I had no love for Twilight. No love for Twilight, Miss Thing and Miss Girl. Why? Because I don't know, I just never got into it. I didn't see the appeal. There were no gays in it. It was not on my radar, hence I wasn't featuring it. But despite the fact that I didn't care about it, the people around me would not shut the fuck up about it. My best friend, shout out, bitch, obsessed, and to this day still has those books in her kitchen. She is a grown-ass woman. I'm pretty sure she was Team Jacob. Let me text her. Hey, Miss Thing, were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? We'll see if we get a reply. Anyway, but when I started making videos about bad movies, you know, I've gotten some DMs. Bitch, stop DMing me. Comment on the fucking video. Rude. I got some DMs saying you have to do Twilight. And then I put up a poll on my Instagram story, @TheLidasha, asking people what movies they want to see, and Twilight won by a landslide. So clearly, people still care about this shitty movie. And I guess it's because it has some kind of like nostalgia for some people. And so when I brought it up to this guy I'm fucking, we ended up going down a whole rabbit hole. So it turns out that this guy was big into Twilight. And that should have been red flag number 1. And he was Team Edward, and he went on this whole spiel, this whole thing about how romantic Twilight is and about how, yeah, it's kind of cringe, but like it's great and he really likes it. And then I watched it and I feel bad. It's descriptive. I feel bad that this movie had such an impact. I feel like this movie is not worthy of what it has spawned, because Twilight, like it or not, is a cultural phenomenon. It is a juggernaut. Twilight has spawned so much smut. There are lots of movies and lots of New York bestsellers, lots of smut that would not exist without people writing horny Twilight fiction. And to those people, do you really think that this movie is worthy of that moniker? I've never read the books, but I did watch this film, and I honestly cannot see why or how they are so popular if this is a faithful adaptation of what was written. Because oh my god, was I bored. Anyway, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk because I have things to say. We're gonna have a discussion. So settle down, buckle the fuck in. So we're gonna talk about Twilight. Also, last week on Movies in Mug, we talked about the Kim Possible movie. It was a lot of fun. Go watch it, okay? So the movie starts with a stupid thing. Our main character, Bella, doing a voiceover. And the voiceover says, I've never given much thought to how I would die, but dying in the place of someone I love seems like a good way to go. And immediately I was like, bitch, you need some self-respect. You really need to be a martyr that bad. You really need everyone to be like, oh, this bitch, she died for me. She died for me. But it turns out that's pretty emblematic of her entire character. This whiny fucking emo bitch. So the movie opens on our main character, our main bestie for this movie. She's a teenage gal and her name is Bella. So Bella is moving. She is packing up her shit and she's moving from Arizona to Washington. And she's going to live with a man that she calls Charlie. So initially, I was like, oh, she's going to live with some dude called Charlie. Like, who the fuck is that? And then I realized that, no, that's her dad and she just calls him Charlie. That seems disrespectful. I don't know why it seems disrespectful. It just seems disrespectful. Oh, and also, I'm not making much progress on this makeup, but for the first 5 minutes of the movie, there are some plant shenanigans that I would like to discuss. So at the beginning of the movie, Bella is cradling two plants. One is a succulent looking thing, and the other one is a cactus. And I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this succulent and this cactus because it's going to be important. She's holding them while she's packing up the car. She's packing up the car and then she's getting on the plane. She's getting on the plane and then she's moving to Forks, okay? You with me? But she's carrying the cactus and the succulent. She's holding them when she's getting into the car. Are you with me? And then the movie shows us a plane, just like stock footage of a plane taking off and then landing. And then I was like, okay, so did she take the plants on the plane? But then when she gets out the other side and we see her again, she's only holding the cactus. She's not holding the succulent anymore. And it's like, where did the succulent go? What happened to the succulent? Why do you just have a cactus now? Did she board holding the cactus and the succulent and then leave the succulent on the plane? I would like to submit the question to you. Are you even allowed to take plants on planes? Because when I was younger, my nan, rest in peace, spent a lot of time in Corfu, but she lived in the UK. So when she came back, she smuggled a plant with her. And she snuggled the plant in her suitcase because you're not allowed to take plants on planes. But she didn't care. She smuggled the plant back and then she put it in her greenhouse. And then one day I was playing in her greenhouse and what came out of the plant? A scorpion. And then my mum had to kill the scorpion with a broom. And I just want to know, was there a scorpion inside that succulent? And is that the reason she doesn't have it? Are we twin flames? Are we living the same existence? Is it even a succulent? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, she left with two plants and she arrived with one. And that's shady, bitch. Anyway, so Bella's moved to Washington and she meets up with her dad, who she enjoys disrespecting. She's at her new house. And then her and her dad meet up with this guy and his pet wig.
Wig? Did you just say wig?
Yes.
I know, wig.
I was in the middle of recovering from Schmarona Schmurs when I watched this, and I legitimately didn't know if I was hallucinating this wig. You come near me with that unit, oh, we're gonna have to throw hands. And I wore that busted Poison Ivy wig in that last video, and girl, even by my standards, this wig is dusty. Anyway, so we find out this guy is called Jacob and him and his dad give Bella a truck. So Bella drives her new truck to school and then immediately she meets a guy called Eric. And when Eric appeared on screen with this greasy, you're not my real mom, I live in a basement and have an anime waifu haircut, I honestly thought that the hair and makeup artist on set was just racist and that every person of color had just been subjected to this cruel, maniacal game implemented by this makeup artist who was just dead set on making sure they looked like shit. Anyway, Bella then meets a guy called Mike and also Anna Kendrick? Anna Kendrick's in this? Oh, hey girl. I am not going to even bother calling her anything other than Anna Kendrick. She might have a name in this movie. I don't know it. It's Anna Kendrick. How much they pay you to be in this movie? It's okay. You don't have to list this on your credits. No one's going to judge you, Anna Kendrick. We all have to do what we have to do. And then this movie gives us what I assume is their first attempt at humor. Oh, and it's rough.
Aren't people from Arizona supposed to be like really tan?
Yeah. Maybe that's why they kicked me out.
And after having watched and rewatched this scene to try and figure out what the fuck they're doing, I think they actually thought that people were gonna find this funny. Okay, so we cut to lunch. And for some unexplained reason, everyone at this school is like, obsessed with Bella. And we have absolutely no idea why, but everybody is like, oh my god, Bella is that girl. She's that girl. Have you met her? She's new and she's that girl. She's been there all of 25 seconds and some dude wants to run a story in the school newspaper about her. And actually, if that was me, if I was Miss Thing, I would live for that. She tells them that she doesn't want them to run it. She's like, no, no, like I'm a private person. No. But if that were me, if I was new to this school, Emmerich exposed and just a picture of me like this, it would sell out. People would frame copies. It would be beautiful. I mean, she fucks a vampire, so I mean, I guess she's got other stuff on her plate. Anyway, so from across the cafeteria, Bella sees some people, you know, all walking in. There's like a squad of them.
Because being with the Plastics was like being famous. People looked at you all the time and everybody just knew stuff about you.
They are in girl boss formation, and Anna Kendrick explains that these people are the Cullens. And child, let me tell you, as soon as I saw these people, as soon as I bore witness to the Cullens, all of my theories about the makeup artist just hating people of color went straight out of the window because, oh my God, these wigs, especially this bitch. This bitch's hair got me. This hair got me fucked up. Oh my God, this hair got me fucked all the way up. I'm so sorry they made you wear this wig, bitch. What the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God.
3 hours later.
Okay. So, Anna Kendrick explains that all of the Cullens are like foster siblings, but they're not just like any regular schmegular foster siblings. These are foster siblings who fuck. I mean, like, they fuck each other. They don't fuck other people that we know. I mean, maybe they do, but they fuck each other. You find out in like the next 20 minutes that they're all vampires anyway. And so if you're immortal vampires, why is that your cover story? Like, you could have chosen legitimately anything else. You don't really convincingly look like teenagers, so you could have just said like, yeah, we're in our early 20s. Like, there's no real reason for you to be at high school. Like, yeah, you may have died when you were 17, but there's no real reason for you to pretend to be 17 forever. You could just be a young-looking 22-year-old. They wave that away later in the movie by saying, you know, the younger we start, the longer we can stay in a place, which, okay, but why do you have to say that you're foster siblings who fuck? You didn't need to tell anyone that. Back on track. So, in the Cullen clan, we have this 35-year-old soccer mum who bulk buys crystals named Rosalie, her Chad husband who most definitely gets dick down in an all-male sauna named Emmett, manic pixie haircut Alice. I got this fucking hair. The guy who probably tops the Chad husband in the sauna named Jasper. Finally, we have Robert Pattinson in his breakout role as Edward Cullen, who just kind of enters the room and then stares directly at Bella like she is a piece of garbage. But I will say, and I made a specific note of this, I really like his brows. Shout out to whoever the fuck did his brows. So Bella goes to class, and it turns out that she has to sit next to this mysterious brooding man named Edward. And Bella just casually goes into class, you know, she just sits down and Edward's immediately just looking at her like... Bella just sat there like... Bitch, I'm wearing Glow by J-Lo. So Edward doesn't show up for school for a few days, and we then cut to an industrial site where a man is like attacked by something that's like cast in shadow. And I'm just gonna, you know, assume it's a vampire because this is a vampire movie, so, you know, it's probably a vampire. So anyway, a couple of days later, Edward comes back to class and like he's trying to be nice to Bella now. He's like, hey bitch, I'm Edward. Nice to meet you. And then they look at an onion and they talk about the weather together. I think this is supposed to be flirting. But then boom, Bella almost gets hit by a car. But she's saved by Edward, who like super speeds over there and stops the car from hitting her. It's all very dramatic. So because she almost got bodied by an SUV, Bella goes to the hospital and meets Dr. Daddy.
No signs of any head trauma. I think you'll be just fine.
I was just sitting there going cross-eyed with boredom, and then this guy showed up and I was like, ooh, who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you? And why is there no team Dr. Daddy? Because he is fine.
That does it. I'm getting me a white man.
So apparently this guy is also a Cullen, but he's not just any Cullen. He's like Daddy Cullen in more ways than one. He's like the head of the Cullen dynasty. But Bella, you know, the wily detective that she is, she has some questions because she just saw this guy's son run at super speed all the way from one side of a parking lot all the way to the other to save her from the SUV of death. And Sexy McDaddy Doctor's just like, huh, yeah, cool, okay. And then he like, I don't know, goes off or something and the scene ends. But honestly, I zoned out because I was so distracted just looking at him being like, oof. Anyway, what else does my script say? Bella then sees Edward at the hospital, who I guess came to like, I don't know, see her? Question mark? She's like, yo, homeboy, how did you do this? Like, you were all the way over yonder, and then all of a sudden, like super quick, like a flash, you were like all the way over here, and then you saved me from an SUV of death. Like, what the fuck, bro? And then like any reasonable adult, his first instinct is just to gaslight the fuck out of her and be like, good luck with that, you crazy bitch. No one's gonna believe you anyway. She's just asking what the fuck you did because you stopped a speeding truck with your bare forearm, but okay. So back at school, I guess like a couple of days later, Edward just goes up to Bella and is like, hey, stay away from me. And it's like, dude, you walked over here, like you came to me. Like I was just minding my own goddamn business and you went out of your way to come over to my sweet little brown ass and be like, stay away from me. You stay the fuck away from me! Disrespectful. But she tells him that she can see through his mask and she can see that he's just using it to keep people away. And obviously, because she's inexplicably attracted to him, she invites him to the beach, you know, so they can like hang out and get to know each other, you know, do teen stuff, go swimming, smoke a blunt. Ew. So Edward doesn't show up to the beach, but whilst they're there, Bella and Anna Kendrick meet up with Jacob and his pet wig. And Jacob explains that his family and the Cullen family have like a history whereby his family is descended from wolves and that the Cullens family are descended from just like some other people, and that both of their families made like a pinky promise to keep each other's secrets. And also they don't like each other. So Edward's information about them being from a mysterious other kind of rival group of people sets Bella's investigative tendencies on a high alert, and she wants to do some snooping. She goes and she gets a book that has information about folklore in order to try and find some information about this rival clan that the Cullens are from. But on her way out of the bookshop, she gets accosted. OMG, baby Bella is in danger. But then, before anything could happen, Edward pulls up in his car and he's like, toot toot, beep beep, get in, bitch.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
And then looks at the guys and is like, arr. And then they all back away because they're like, why is this guy in a sports car growling at us? So they drive off and Bella's like, the fuck, dude? How did you get here? And his response is, you know, that he knew that those guys had evil intent. And she's like, well, yeah, but how did you know to save me? Were you following me? And in response, Edward just says,
I feel very protective of you.
So this right here triggered some kind of response in me, buried away inside my animal brain. Like, this triggered my fight or flight because the amount of fucking times I heard this sentence as a kid as like the epitome of romance. I feel very protective over you. This is romance. And why? Why is this the thing that, like, you know, resonated so hard with a generation? Has it escaped anyone's attention that he was literally stalking her? Like, honestly, this movie, if you read it in a certain way, is like a prequel to the TV show You, starring Penj Babajley.
I feel very protective of you.
So they leave and they go home, and then something else happens with Dr. Daddy. But honestly, I was so distracted by him being so fine that I legitimately have no functioning memory of what the issue was. Back at Bella's house, she's reading that book, and the book is referencing like a group of people called the Cold Ones. And Bella, like, she touched Edward's hand like in the car on the way home, and she's like, oh my God, you know, he was really cold. Maybe this is about him. Which, like, girl, I hate to break it to you, I have Raynaud's syndrome, and I am also perpetually like cold to the touch. Like, people touch me and they go, are you okay? Like, maybe he just has a condition. Am I a vampire? I hope so. Anyway, so the next day at school, she's like, hey, you're a vampire. And he's like, oh my God, you're right. You're totally right. So he like picks her up and then he runs up a mountain. They put a Kira filter on him, so there's some sun and he sparkles. This whole thing kind of turns Bella on, and she's like, oh my God, babe, you are fucking beautiful. Like, I want you to destroy me. I mean, she doesn't really say it like that, but like, she's thinking it. And he just has like a complete hissy fit about it. He's like, the first time I met you, I wanted to rip off your limbs and like deep fry them with a side of rice. And Bella is so desperate that she's just sat there and she's like, all I heard is that you like me. I'm trying not to be too hard on Bella because, you know, I've also done some crazy shit for dick in my day. Granted, that dick was not as anemic as this one, but, you know, each to their own. Okay, so the next day, Bella does a little recap. She's like, okay, I know 3 things about this dude. Number 1, he's a vampire. Number 2, he wants to rip out my ribcage and play it like a xylophone. And number 3, I love him. Oh. It's actually a pretty concise summary of this entire movie, if I do say so myself. I feel like I must ask, why? Like, he hasn't been all that nice to you. Like, he's had maybe 1 real conversation with you, and the rest has just been him, like, being a bit of a dick. Oh, and Edward just, like, out of nowhere shows up in Bella's bedroom, and he just casually lets her know, like, hey, I've just been watching you sleep for, like, a month now. And they end up making out. And at first I was like, girl, you're gonna make out with someone who literally told you that every time you get close to them, they want to slit your throat and drink your blood. But then I was like, ooh, but the danger might be a little bit of a turn on, you know? You kind of want to see how far you can push him before he snaps. And like, yeah, you might die, but is it worth it, you know, for the nut? When I started looking at this movie through that lens, where this is just like a long con for her, she has a danger kink. And honestly, she's found like the apex predator to get off on. She's like, at any moment, he's gonna fucking snap. He's gonna fucking snap. Oh. I'm not mad about it. Then Bella and all of Edward's family go to play some baseball. Ooh, and Supermassive Black Hole plays. And I was watching it and I was like, Like, I forgot, that was kind of a bop back at the day. That was kind of a bop, you know? Like, okay, come through, soundtrack. Daddy Doctor's there. Like, all in all, I have to say, this was definitely my favorite scene of the movie. But then, whilst they're playing, you know, whilst they're in the middle of their little game, 3 other vampires show up. Different vampires or some other bitches. They just show up and they're like, tasty little meat snack you've got there. You know, look at Bella like, like I want to taste. Turns out that their names are Laurent, or maybe Laurent. Sounds French. Laurent, Victoria, Victoire, and James. And I'm not gonna lie, I did find it kind of funny that as soon as they, you know, smelt Bella's human flesh, they immediately went full zombie and were like, you
brought a snack.
And I always think, like, why? Like in every movie, when you have some kind of supernatural creature and, you know, they need to like show that they're being supernatural creatures, they always have to go in everything. This is not just a Twilight problem. This is like every piece of media. I'm going to make it a habit of like pointing it out whenever I see it, because why do you need to go, I don't feel like it's necessary, pet. Anyway, so they're all in a field, they're all wearing at each other, and then Laurent is like, hey, you know what? We don't want any problems, like, we're chill, so we're gonna kick it. Deuces, bye, see you never. Okay, so I went to Krylon, and I picked up this blush in the shade F302, and part of me thinks it would ruin everything. Another part of me lives for chaos and just wants to try it. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so you'd think that everything was chill, but you'd be wrong, because Edward is like, no, bitch. I read James's mind and I know that he has terrible thoughts. And I know that he wants to use your small intestine as dental floss, bitch. Like, he wants to eat your neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack. I kind of live for it. And as a response to this knowledge, Edward is immediately like, gang, we gotta kill him. He's gonna die. Rip his head off and set his body on fire. I think that might have been a little bit of an overreaction.
Hi, Hens. So I feel like I wasn't really clear in what I'm trying to say here. What I mean by this is that they could have just eaten her. It seems to me like that would have been the best option. Like, you're vampires. Literally, this is what you do. This is your thing. This is your ish. This is your zhuzh. Just eat her.
So in the car, Bella's like, oh, okay, so this vampire is like now gonna try and kill me. And, you know, he might hurt my family in order to get to me for some reason. So then she goes home and she's just a total bitch to her dad. She's like, fuck you. I don't want to be any part of your life. I'm leaving. See you never. Bye. So she leaves and she goes to meet up with Edward. And he's with the rest of his family. And then Rosalie, you remember, like, the blonde lady who collects crystals from the beginning of the video? She's like, wait, hold up. So you bring Miss New Puss around, you know, Miss Fresh Meat, and then I have to put my immortal soul, I have to put thine life, thine undead life in danger, all because you want a bit of human puss? And then Daddy Dom comes in and he's like, she's one of us now. And I'm like, is she? Why? Why is she one of you? Like, y'all have known her for what, like, a week? That is a lot. Like, I've dated guys for months and not even known their last name. So y'all move quick. Anywho, so this James guy sends Bella a message and is like, I've kidnapped your mom. So, like, come and get her. I'm holding her in your old dance school, which somehow I found because, like, your high school had records of the fact that you went to this dance school when you were, like, a child, despite the fact you haven't lived here in, like, a decade, which seems like a plot hole. So Bella shows up to save her mum, and then James is just like, hey, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm not just gonna kill you. I'm also gonna make a snuff film. So I'm gonna record you dying. And then I'm gonna send it to your boyfriend. And I'm really gonna get off on knowing that I've caused him pain because he now has to watch your title white ass get it. Okay. So in this like old dance studio, there's loads of mirrors and stuff, and Bella gets yeeted across a floor and she gets stabbed with some glass or something. There's an action sequence. But then Dr. Daddy gets on screen and I immediately lose interest in the plot. So let's just say that some stuff happens. Bella's turning into a vampire because James bit her. And then Edward has to suck out the vampire venom before it turns her into a vampire. Because I guess like he doesn't want her to be a vampire, which, I mean, I don't really know why. He sucks out the venom and then Edward's brothers, you know, the pale guy and the guy who gets stick down in the sauna, they're also there and they like kill the other vampire. And whilst all this is happening, those two are just like dancing around a flaming pyre because they've decapitated the other vampire and then set him on fire. And poof, just like that, Bella wakes up and she's in hospital. Edward's there and he's sleeping on the couch and they made up some excuse about her falling through a screen door or something. Oh my God, this makeup is so fucking cunt. All right, home stretch. So Bella gets out of the hospital, she goes to prom with Edward. At the prom, Jacob shows up wearing that fucking wig.
Did you just say wig?
And he tells Bella that he wants her to break up with Edward. Or more specifically, I think he says that his dad wants her to break up with Edward. But either way, someone wants Bella to break up with Edward and she's just like, okay. And then Bella tells Edward that she's ready. And she wants to be a vampire. Like, she knows that she was almost a vampire, but she didn't quite go all the way. And now she wants to go all the way to being a vampire. Like, she's ready. But Edward says no for, I don't know, reasons. He's like, no, because I want you to experience life. The obvious answer to that is, yeah, and I can just experience life forever as a vampire, so I'm a fucking vampire. Oh yeah, then the movie ends, right? Oh no, there's sequel bait. Oh yeah, the sequel bait. Okay, so then at the prom, it cuts to Victoria, the female vampire, you know, from earlier in the movie, and she's just like, you know, menacingly looking at them like, I'll get you, you little kitties. And your dog too. And then it ends. Then it's like, done. We're done. We're finally fucking done. It's the end of this fucking movie. All right. So I'm going to get changed. And then we'll be back with my final thoughts. What did I think of this movie? I think my main problem with it overall is just that it is so boring. Obviously, at the start of this video, I made it very clear that I am just not the biggest fan hen. I watched it and I was like, this is what all the fuss was about. Okay. The acting is, oh God, it really makes this movie hard to get through. Like, it is a slog. Weirdly, I do not think that Robert Pattinson or Kristen Stewart are bad actors. I even think that they really disliked it. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen in the general zeitgeist of life comments from Rob Pattinson saying like, yeah, it's a piece of trash. And Kristen Stewart, I'm pretty sure, just doesn't claim this whatsoever. Like, she's busy being the darling of France. For those of you who may be watching this from, you know, outside of Europe, like, France, for some reason, has this weird affection for Kristen Stewart. Like, they love her. I guess it's because she kind of has that very French look. And she's a lesbian, and lesbians have always traditionally done very well in France. Paris is like lesbian Mecca. I will also say that I am a little bit confused because I remember this whole big thing about Team Edward versus Team Jacob, and you know, you had to pick a side. But having watched this movie, Jacob was not presented as a legitimate romantic rival in any shape, way, or form. Like, maybe it'll come in the second movie or the third movie, which I obviously haven't seen, but I expected there to be more, you know? I expected more from this movie. But honestly, I think it may be worth watching this movie if for no other reason than for those fucking wigs. Because I know I've harped on these wigs so much, but girl, this doesn't even look like hair. Like, I would find it fucking hilarious if in a future movie it turned out that she died by electrocution or something like that, and that's the reason her hair is like stuck that way forever, because like, you know, the electricity made their hair poof out. If it is an in-joke, then I think that's fucking hilarious. But I don't know, because I haven't seen any of the movies and I've never read the books, so I guess that's a journey we'll have to go on together here on Movies in a Mug. Okay guys, that is not it from me, because I need to tell you what my bestie said. Is she Team Edward or is she Team Jacob? I bet you're all dying to know. It's way too oh god, wow, she sent a paragraph. It's way too complex for a simple Edward versus Jacob, don't you know? But ultimately and reluctantly, I was Team Edward. I could see all the points for why Jacob would win, and I did have a soft spot for him though. P.S. I'm wearing the necklace you bought me. Oh, that looks so cute! You feel better now that you know that? Okay guys, I am gonna go. I'm gonna go take some pictures of this makeup. See you next week. Next week's gonna be really fun. Next week's gonna be really, really fucking fun. We're doing Slither. We're doing Slither, and I fucking love Slither. So get ready. We're doing Slither. Come back next week. It's gonna be lit. Right, okay. See you later guys. Kisses from England. Bye, 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 bye. Ha. I think Dr. Daddy also has a secret power, and his secret power is laying down that pipe, but the movie has not confirmed that yet, so I'll have to wait until he makes an OnlyFans. I'm just gonna message, because I messaged her, I told a friend of mine that I just got this role in something, and the role is a little bit dirty, like it's a little bit of a sexy role. And she said, ha ha ha, she's getting a role as a dirty gual. Give them Sade, Sweetest Taboo, because she knows that's my fucking song. You make me the sweetest taboo. Oh. All right, okay, back to this mess.